Chosen one, what if I told you that your loneliness and financial struggles were not random? There's a powerful reason why this happened to you. Life hasn't been easy, and for many of you watching, it's felt downright impossible. You may find yourself wondering why you've been dealt such a heavy hand, why it seems like others have it so easy, why you face isolation, rejection, and the constant battle to make ends meet. But this isn't just bad luck. It's not because you've done something wrong. In fact, the truth is far more profound. Your struggles, your hardships, and your loneliness, they've all been part of a much bigger plan. The world has tried to convince you that you're alone, that you're unworthy. But today we're uncovering the truth they didn't want you to know. This isn't just another video. It's a wake-up call. The answers you've been searching for are finally coming to light. If this resonates, like the video and comment 77 below. Make sure you subscribe, share this message, and if you feel moved, click the super thanks button to support. Keep watching until the end. What I'm about to reveal will completely change how you see yourself and your journey. Why chosen ones experience loneliness and struggle. It's no wonder that so many chosen ones find themselves feeling like strangers in their own lives. From an early age, you may have sensed that you didn't belong in the same ways others seem to. Perhaps you noticed that your thoughts, your dreams, and your aspirations set you apart. Even as a child, there may have been a weight you carried that you couldn't put into words, a sense that your path would not be ordinary. But this feeling wasn't just a figment of your imagination. The world around you often reflects back the energy you project. And when you carry the mark of the chosen, others sense it. Their reactions, whether subtle or overt, only reinforce that you are different. Maybe you were the sibling who never seemed to fit the family mold, or the friend who was always a bit too deep, too introspective, or too forward-thinking for the group. These experiences create a sense of isolation, and though it can be painful, it's also the first indication that your journey is uniquely yours. Isolation is never easy, and for chosen ones, it can feel like an endless trial. You may have wondered why. Despite your best efforts, you seem to face more rejection than acceptance. Doors that open easily for others feel permanently closed to you, leaving you to question whether you're somehow defective or doomed to struggle. Yet it's not a lack of worth that drives these experiences. It's your light that unsettles those who don't understand it. Think about the moments when you've shared your vision, only to be met with blank stares or subtle resistance. People often reject what they don't understand, and when you carry something as powerful and transformative as the energy of the chosen, you will inevitably face pushback. This rejection isn't a reflection of your value, but rather a testament to the unique and profound energy you bring into the world. That energy can be intimidating, even to those who don't realize why they're reacting the way they do. It's a challenge, but it's also a clue that you are not ordinary, and that your path will never follow the conventional script. It's important to remember that this season of isolation and struggle is not a punishment, but rather a form of preparation. Consider the story of Joseph from the Bible, a young man whose brothers sold him into slavery because they could see that he was destined for greatness. Joseph's journey was filled with hardship, rejection, and time spent in obscurity. Yet each trial he faced was molding him into the person he needed to become to fulfill his divine purpose. When the time came, Joseph's struggles proved to be the very foundation of his success. In the same way, the loneliness and difficulties you have experienced are not random acts of cruelty. They are steps on the path of your transformation, laying the groundwork for what you will ultimately achieve. While it may feel like you're being broken down, you're actually being built up. This is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning. As you move through these challenging seasons, signs of transformation will begin to appear. They may be subtle at first, a growing sense of clarity, a shift in how you see yourself, or the realization that you're stronger than you thought. You might notice that even though the struggle continues, you are starting to see glimmers of purpose in it. Perhaps you'll have a conversation that resonates deeply, or experience a small but meaningful success that reminds you of your inner strength. These shifts are more than coincidence. They are the first indications that the hard work you've been doing, both externally and internally, is paying off. Just as a seed must break apart before it can grow, you've been in the process of breaking open, and now the first tender shoots of new life are beginning to emerge. The challenges that once seemed insurmountable start to feel more like stepping stones. This transformation isn't always obvious, but it is happening. Trust that what you're seeing, even in small glimpses, is the start of something profound. At the same time, there are forces at play that you may not fully understand. While you've been fighting to stay afloat, higher powers have been working behind the scenes to guide you. These are not accidents or lucky breaks. They are divine interventions, carefully timed and placed to help you along your path. Think about the times when you've been at your lowest, only for something unexpected to show up. A piece of advice, a new opportunity, or even a feeling of peace that comes out of nowhere. These moments are not random. They are part of a larger pattern, evidence that you're being watched over, supported, and prepared for what comes next. Even when it feels like you're facing the world alone, these interventions remind you that you are not. They are a confirmation that your journey is not just about surviving your struggles. It's about being elevated through them. What feels like chaos is actually divine alignment in progress. This growing awareness is both liberating and daunting. To recognize that you are in the midst of transformation is one thing, but to accept it fully is another. Many resist the idea that their struggles have purpose, clinging instead to old patterns of doubt and fear. It's natural to fear the unknown, especially when stepping into a role that feels so much larger than yourself. But true transformation requires not only recognizing the signs, but embracing them. This is a sacred moment, an invitation to let go of the old, step into the new, and claim the identity that has been waiting for you all along. The fear you feel is a sign that you are on the edge of something significant. What comes next will depend on whether you choose to face that fear head-on. This is your opportunity to decide who you want to become, and to take that first step into your new reality. Once you fully embrace this shift, the path ahead becomes clearer. You no longer need to justify your struggles or explain your isolation. Instead, you can see them for what they are, signposts pointing you toward your purpose. The next steps might not be easy, but they will be meaningful. It could mean deepening your spiritual practice, reaching out to like-minded individuals, or simply trusting that you are exactly where you need to be. Each action you take, no matter how small, moves you closer to the life you've been preparing for all along. The transformation is already happening. Now it's up to you to live it. By releasing fear, embracing change, and trusting the process, you'll discover strength within yourself that you never knew existed. And as you step forward, you'll find that the loneliness and struggle you once felt have given way to a sense of purpose and connection that is truly extraordinary. The spiritual purpose behind this season. You might be wondering why the season of isolation and struggle has lasted as long as it has, why the weight feels so heavy, and why the path forward seems obscured. It's natural to feel disheartened, even to question whether there's a greater meaning behind it all. But the truth is, you are in the midst of something profound. This season, as painful as it may feel, has a spiritual purpose that can transform the way you see yourself and your future. It's not just a detour or a delay. It's part of the plan. You're not simply enduring hardship. You're being prepared. These experiences are shaping you in ways you may not fully realize yet. There's something larger at work here, a process that's refining you into someone capable of stepping into the extraordinary role you were always meant to play. And the fact that you're still here, still searching for meaning, is proof that you're closer than you think to understanding why this is all happening. When you feel overlooked, it's easy to assume that you're not enough, that if you were truly chosen, your path would have been smoother or your successes more apparent. But consider this. Every moment of solitude, every closed door, every setback has been part of a greater preparation. These experiences force you to turn inward, to reflect, and to find strength within yourself that you didn't know existed. Remember the story of David. Before he became a king, before anyone recognized his greatness, he was simply a shepherd. Out in the fields, away from the crowds, David learned patience, resilience, and a quiet courage that would one day define his leadership. No one saw his potential back then, but in that time of solitude, he was being prepared for a destiny that no one could have imagined. Your own struggles are doing the same for you. Every challenge you face is adding a layer to your character, a strength to your spirit. It may feel invisible now, but the work being done within you is undeniable. Your current season is not just about enduring hardship. It's about building the qualities you'll need for the next stage of your journey. In the isolation, you learn to trust yourself, to hear your own intuition, and to understand what truly matters to you. When everything is stripped away, you see yourself more clearly. And when you emerge from this season, you'll find that the strength you've gained is what sets you apart. Think of it as a refining process, like gold being purified in fire. The heat and pressure are uncomfortable, but they remove the impurities, leaving only what is valuable. Similarly, this season is stripping away what no longer serves you, old habits, limiting beliefs, and self-doubt, and revealing the core of who you really are. It's preparing you to take on challenges and opportunities that will require the strength, wisdom, and courage you're gaining now. The signs of this transformation may already be showing themselves in small ways. Perhaps you've noticed moments of unexpected clarity or a newfound ability to handle situations that would have overwhelmed you before. Maybe you're beginning to see patterns in your life that you didn't recognize before, patterns that suggest a larger plan at work. Even if the changes feel subtle, they're there. Over time, these small shifts accumulate, creating a solid foundation that will support you in the future. Think of a tree growing beneath the surface, where roots spread quietly and deeply before the branches above can flourish. You may not see it all yet, but something significant is taking shape within you. As you continue to move through this season, pay attention to these signs. They're your reminders that, even in the midst of struggle, you are growing stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the purpose for which you were chosen. There is a spiritual force at work, orchestrating events in ways you can't yet fully comprehend. It's easy to feel like you're alone, that no one sees your efforts or understands the depth of your pain. But the truth is that you are being guided. Your setbacks are not evidence of abandonment. They're part of the process. Like a skilled artist chiseling away at a block of marble, the divine is shaping you, even through difficulty. Think of the story of Elijah, who faced despair and isolation in the wilderness, yet was sustained by divine intervention. His time alone wasn't the end of his journey. It was a preparation he needed to carry out his mission. Similarly, you may feel like you're wandering in the wilderness right now, but you're not alone. Forces beyond your understanding are clearing a path for you, removing obstacles and aligning circumstances in your favor. You may not see the full picture yet, but these hidden interventions are proof that your purpose is real and that your struggles are not in vain. Of course, understanding this on a mental level is only part of the journey. The real transformation happens when you accept it fully. Many people resist the idea that their struggles serve a purpose. They cling to the belief that things should have gone differently, or they focus on how unfair their circumstances feel. But true growth comes from embracing the process, not just recognizing it, but stepping into it willingly. This is a sacred moment, a turning point where you choose to see your life not as a series of random hardships, but as a carefully designed journey. This acceptance doesn't mean giving up or settling for less. It means trusting that the pain you've experienced is carving out space for something greater. It means understanding that every step, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to the person you were always meant to be. When you accept this, you can move forward with clarity, courage, and a deep sense of purpose. Now that you understand the spiritual purpose behind this season, the question becomes, what will you do with it? The choice is yours. You can continue to fight against it, or you can embrace it. The path forward may not always be easy, but it will be meaningful. By leaning into the lessons of this season, you'll find that you have more strength, more wisdom, and more clarity than you ever thought possible. This isn't about waiting for some perfect moment. It's about recognizing that every moment, even the difficult ones, is part of your preparation. As you move forward, know that you are exactly where you need to be. Trust in the process, trust in yourself, and trust in the purpose that's guiding you. Comment purpose below if this resonates with you, and let it serve as a reminder that you are not just enduring this season, you are rising through it. How to recognize when your season is about to change. There comes a time in every journey when the tides quietly begin to turn. You might not notice it at first. You may still feel as though you're stuck, treading the same weary ground, wondering if anything will ever change. But then, something subtle shifts. Perhaps it's a moment of unexpected calm that washes over you, or a faint glimmer of clarity that wasn't there before. It's not always loud or obvious. Often, it's quiet and steady, like the first light of dawn creeping over the horizon. For those who are spiritually attuned, These small signs feel like the faint rustling of a new season, and while they might not seem like much in the moment, they carry the promise of transformation. If you're feeling a quiet sense of something different, a whisper that things are starting to shift, it's worth paying attention. You may be closer to a breakthrough than you realize. Recognizing the signs of change isn't always straightforward. For a long time, your struggles may have felt all-consuming. They defined your daily life, weighing heavily on your thoughts and convincing you that the pattern will never end. You might have wondered why certain doors never seem to open, or why relationships that once felt secure began to crumble. But what if those shifts weren't just coincidences? What if they were preparing you for something better? Ruth's story in the Bible reminds us that even in the midst of loss, perseverance and faith can quietly set the stage for transformation. She didn't know what was coming, but she remained steadfast. It wasn't a grand announcement that changed her life. It was a simple, almost mundane encounter that shifted everything. Like Ruth, your turning point may come in the form of a quiet moment of clarity or small, unexpected opportunity. These subtle shifts can be easy to overlook, but they are the early signs that your season is beginning to change. When these moments begin to appear, they can feel almost surreal. A relationship that once drained your energy might naturally fade, leaving you with a sense of relief and freedom. In its place, new connections start to form, ones that nurture and uplift you rather than tear you down. You may find that people who once doubted or dismissed you now show respect and support. It's not that these changes happen all at once, but they do start to gather momentum. The internal dialogue you carried, the one filled with doubt, fear, and hesitation, begins to soften. You notice that your thoughts are lighter, your confidence is building, and your sense of purpose is quietly becoming stronger. These subtle but profound changes are like the first green shoots after a long winter. They signal that new growth is underway, even if the full picture isn't yet clear. One of the most powerful indicators that your season is changing is the sudden appearance of opportunities that seem to come from nowhere. It could be an unexpected phone call, a chance meeting, or a moment of inspiration that sets you on a new path. These aren't random events. They are the result of the inner work you've been doing all along. While it may have felt like nothing was happening, your resilience, your perseverance, and your faith were preparing you for this very moment. Think of it like planting seeds in a garden. For weeks or months, you see nothing but bare soil. Then one day, a sprout breaks through the surface. That sprout doesn't appear by accident. It's the result of care, patience, and a process that has been unfolding beneath the surface. Your breakthrough will feel the same, sudden, yet deeply rooted in all the effort you've put in. As the signs of change become more apparent, you may also notice synchronicities that feel too meaningful to ignore. Perhaps the same theme appears in conversations, books, or even dreams. Maybe you keep seeing the same numbers, symbols, or phrases that seem to point you in a particular direction. These synchronicities serve as guideposts, reminding you that you're not imagining this shift. They're gentle nudges from the universe, assuring you that your journey is on track. Pay attention to these moments. They're like breadcrumbs leading you toward the next chapter of your story. What once seemed like random occurrences now feel intentional, as if something larger is orchestrating events on your behalf. These synchronicities help you trust that your efforts haven't been in vain and that your breakthrough is indeed approaching. Once you recognize these signs, it's important to embrace them fully. This is the moment where many hesitate, doubting whether the change they're seeing is real or if they're truly ready to step into a new season. But resisting the signs only delays the inevitable. The shift is happening, and the sooner you accept it, the sooner you can align yourself with the opportunities it brings. Think of it as stepping onto a moving train. The train is already on its way, and your role is to hop on board. Trust that the momentum is there and that you have everything you need to move forward. By embracing these signs and taking small, purposeful steps, you allow the transition to unfold more smoothly. You don't have to have all the answers yet. What matters is your willingness to acknowledge the shift and to lean into it. As you start to embrace this new season, you'll find that your perspective changes. What once seemed daunting now feels manageable. What once felt like rejection or failure now appears as part of the process. You begin to see the bigger picture, not just where you've been, but where you're headed. This new perspective brings with it a sense of peace and confidence. You no longer feel like you're struggling to survive. Instead, you feel like you're being guided towards something meaningful. The relationships, opportunities, and moment of clarity that once seemed out of reach are now within your grasp. It's not that life becomes perfect overnight, but you start to move through it with greater ease and purpose. With each step forward, you become more aligned with who you truly are and the life you're meant to live. If you're noticing these signs, if you felt the subtle shifts, the quiet clarity, the small breakthroughs, then you're already on your way. Comment breakthrough below to affirm what you're experiencing. This moment is not random. It's the beginning of something new. Trust the process. Pay attention to the signs and know that your season of change has already begun. Breaking free from financial and emotional struggles. Breaking free from financial and emotional struggles often starts with a single, pivotal realization. The power to change your life doesn't come from the outside. It begins within. For far too long, you've been told that the life you're living now is all you'll ever have. They've whispered doubts into your mind, convinced you that the challenges you face are insurmountable. But what if those challenges were never meant to be your end point? What if they were the very fire that would forge your strength and clarity? You are not defined by your circumstances, no matter how overwhelming they may seem. Instead, you hold the key to turning your story around. Once you begin to see your struggles not as barriers but as stepping stones, everything changes. It's not easy, but it's possible. And the truth is, you already have everything you need inside of you. For many, the weight of financial and emotional hardships feels like a never-ending cycle. Maybe you've been told that this is just the way life is, that struggling to make ends meet, feeling isolated, and carrying the burden of self-doubt are things you'll always endure. But that narrative is not your truth. Think of Peter in the Bible, who faced failure and rejection, yet eventually became a source of inspiration and leadership for others. He didn't wait for his circumstances to change before stepping into his calling. Instead, he made a conscious decision to shift his perspective, to trust a higher purpose behind his struggles. You can do the same. The financial and emotional challenges you face now are not punishments. They're opportunities for you to learn, to grow, and to step into your power. It's time to break free from the mindset that holds you back. One of the first steps toward liberation is shifting how you view your situation. Instead of seeing your struggles as a permanent state, start to see them as temporary conditions that are molding you into someone stronger and more resilient. Even the smallest shift in perspective can have a profound impact. Begin with gratitude. Even if it feels difficult, acknowledge the blessings you already have, no matter how small. Maybe it's the roof over your head, the meal you had today, or the people who genuinely care about you. Gratitude isn't about denying the reality of your challenges. It's about choosing to focus on what's still going right. When you do this, you start to build a foundation of hope. From there, you can take deliberate actions, small, consistent steps to create change. It might mean reaching out for help, exploring new opportunities, or simply committing to a daily practice that uplifts your spirit. The key is to keep moving forward, one step at a time. Breaking free from financial and emotional struggles also means setting boundaries with the people and situations that drain your energy. Often, the patterns that keep us stuck are reinforced by unhealthy relationships or environments that don't support our growth. Look closely at where your time and energy go. Are there people who constantly bring you down, who instill fear and doubt? Are there habits that no longer serve you? This isn't about placing blame. It's about taking responsibility for your energy and choosing to surround yourself with those who uplift and encourage you. By clearing away what no longer aligns with your vision, you make room for new opportunities and healthier relationships. This shift might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's a crucial step toward freedom. Another essential element in breaking free is cultivating a sense of self-worth. Financial struggles, in particular, can lead to feelings of inadequacy or shame. But your worth is not determined by your bank balance or material possessions. It's rooted in who you are and the unique gifts you bring to the world. Take time to reflect on your strengths, talents, and accomplishments, no matter how small they may seem. Acknowledge your resilience, the obstacles you've already overcome, and the wisdom you've gained along the way. When you truly believe in your own worth, you start to make different choices. You begin to seek out opportunities that align with your values and aspirations. You stop settling for less and start striving for more. This internal shift in how you see yourself is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward freedom. As you build this new foundation, you'll notice subtle yet powerful changes in your life. You might begin to feel lighter, as if a weight you've been carrying for years is starting to lift. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach will start appearing. Your relationships will shift, as the people who align with your energy naturally gravitate toward you. The challenges you face won't vanish overnight, but they will lose their power over you. Instead of feeling like a victim of your circumstances, you'll feel empowered to create a new reality. This transformation doesn't happen all at once, but with each step forward, you'll see and feel the progress. Your financial struggles will begin to lessen, your emotional burdens will start to ease, and you'll gain a sense of confidence and clarity that you've never felt before. Now that you understand that breaking free starts within, the next step is to take deliberate, consistent action. You don't need to have everything figured out right away. Just start with what's in front of you. Take that first small step, whether it's exploring a new opportunity, reaching out to someone who can help, or simply practicing gratitude each day. With each step, you'll build momentum. The path may not always be smooth, but it will be meaningful. And as you continue to move forward, you'll find that the life you once thought was out of reach is actually closer than you imagined. By shifting your perspective, focusing on what you can control, and taking consistent, deliberate action, you can break free from the patterns that have held you back. If you're ready to take that step, if you're ready to break free from the cycles of loneliness and financial hardship, then let this moment be your turning point. Comment freedom below to affirm your commitment to this new path. Your story isn't over, and the struggles you face don't define you. They are simply chapters in a much larger narrative, one in which you rise, grow, and ultimately thrive, walking into your divine purpose with confidence. The time has come to put an end to the waiting and wondering. You've spent enough days, months, and maybe even years questioning if you're ready, doubting whether you're capable, or hoping for a perfect moment to arrive. That moment is now. The signs have been there all along, subtle nudges, moment of clarity, and the quiet sense that you're meant for something greater. It's time to take action, not to become someone you're not, but to embrace who you've been all along. By stepping into your divine purpose, you aren't losing yourself. You're finally allowing your true self to shine. This isn't just about fulfilling a role. It's about living authentically, with the confidence that you are exactly where you're meant to be and that you have everything you need to walk forward boldly. Embracing your purpose isn't always easy, especially when doubts linger. Maybe you wondered if you're really chosen, or if you have what it takes to make a difference. Maybe you compared yourself to others who seem more qualified, more experienced, or more successful. But look at Esther's story. She didn't start as a queen. She started as an orphan. Her journey wasn't about being the strongest or the most obvious choice. It was about stepping into a role she was uniquely prepared for. Like her, you don't need to have it all figured out right away. What matters is that you begin. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward claiming the life you were meant to lead. Doubts will always try to creep in, but your courage and faith are stronger. Remember that you wouldn't feel this calling if you weren't ready to answer it. As you continue forward, you'll realize that walking into your purpose isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Every morning, every moment, you have the chance to choose alignment, authenticity, and courage. The more you embrace your purpose, the more you'll inspire those around you. Your confidence becomes a beacon for others who are searching for their own path. You'll find that your life isn't just about you. It's about the ripple effect you create. By fully stepping into who you are, you encourage others to do the same. Your journey isn't just a personal transformation. It's a gift to the world. And every step you take inspires others to rise, to grow, and to walk their own paths with confidence and purpose. If you feel ready to take that step, if you feel the call to walk into your divine purpose with confidence, let this moment be your declaration. In the days ahead, there may still be moments of doubt or fear. You might wonder if you have what it takes to continue this path. But each of these moments is an opportunity to remember your strength, to realign with your purpose, and step forward once again. Each time you do, you'll discover that what once seemed difficult becomes easier, and what once felt impossible starts to flow naturally. This is the power of choosing your purpose, day after day. It creates a momentum that carries you through challenges, deepens your faith, and solidifies your role as a guiding light for others.